In regards to NAFTA, I find that they are much more particular in how the NAFTA looks and its format when shipping to Mexico than when I ship to Canada. Why is this? It's the same form, same products in most cases, but Mexico is very picky in what information needs to be on there. Well said.
Yeah, very well said.
Adam. I mean, we've been dealing with this for quite a while now.
Yeah, and it's been, from going from just being, a service provider on one side to being a service provider on both sides of the border down there, we've definitely seen this as well. And one of the things there's a couple things I can say about this. So there's actually a proper way and an improper way to fill out an NAFTA form. There are minor things, like the tariff number only needs to be 6 digits, not 10. And there are things like that Canada tends not to care about. Even though the form might not be correct as far as did I fill it out, they only put 6 instead of 10 or things like that, Canada is not overly concerned. The U.S. tends not to be either with what's going on there when it comes down to some of those minor things. Because to them, it's like, well, you gave me all 10, I only need 6, it's not a big deal. Thanks for giving me more information. When we start to look at Mexico, Mexico is kind of an odd thing to say, but when it comes to this, they're very much a rule follower. So if it says X, you have to do X. We've seen more free trade agreement or more NAFTAs returned for the 10 versus the 6. And all they had to do was take those last 4 off, and all of a sudden the NAFTA went through without a problem. One of the other issues we see a lot, especially at the southern border, is that brokers will claim that the government is telling them things that is not actually happening. That is one of probably the most common things that we see, is that it's not Mexican customs claiming that they need to update something. It's maybe that broker. The reason for that is, and the reason for also a lot of the stringent pushback on NAFTAs going into Mexico is the fact that in the United States, even though you hire a broker, you as the importer are ultimately liable for what's happening. In Mexico, the customs broker is liable. So that changes my view too, because if you guys are providing Scarborough information in the United States, we're going to do our best job to make sure that, yeah, this looks right, everything is done. But customs says ultimately it's still on you. In Mexico, the Mexican Customs Department says, no, it's on you, Scarborough. You have to make sure this is right. So a lot of times that's why you get a lot of pushback, because NAFTA is the largest free trade agreement that sits inside of the tariff, from just a thickness and number of pages to read. And there is some gray, there is some interpretation that has to be done. And, you look at Laredo alone, there are 700 and some odd customs brokers, freight forwarders in Laredo with us. And so that's 700 and some odd different interpretations of the exact same thing. And so you're going to see some differences. We've seen it a lot too. Product going to Mexico tends to deliver to Laredo and then you're done. And so what happens when when you're doing that, you're delivering to your customer's Mexican customs broker. It might be 7 different people, and you might have 7 different people telling you they want something different on an NAFTA form. I'm sure if I could see you all instead of just a camera, I'd see a lot of heads nodding right now, because it's something that we see all the time and it's something that we deal with. So that is one of the biggest reasons, I guess, in my opinion, that Mexico really does that, and you get a lot more pushback. 90+% of the time, it's not from customs, it's from the broker. Now, they're going to tell you it's from customs because that tends to be the claim. Everyone tends to listen more when they say, hey, the government's telling me this, not just me. But it's normally that broker wanting to make sure that they have all their own I's dotted and T's crossed.
And one of the things that we've been encouraging our clients that ship to Mexico clients to do is let Scarborough. Let us be the broker, get us and introduce us to your client. Let us be the broker on the Mexico side. Because then if we're working with you and your Mexican broker, you're going to know exactly the right way to do that NAFTA. And it's going to be the same every single time. because when you're dealing with a different client, with a different broker, and they have different rules every single time, you chase your tail. And that's kind of what Adam said, is that it's the stickiness of one, making sure we do it exactly the same way and the right way going into to Mexico for the liability of us, the broker. But anyways, you're gonna know how to do it the exact same way. So might throw in a plug for Scarborough to Mexico there.